Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast launch party. Today, we'll have a very eventful hour. We'll have several guests who have been on my personal show and also have featured on the Meditation Center Chicago uh, Facebook page for the show that we ran previously this year, Soul Talk. We'll have Don Barry leading meditation in about 30 minutes. We'll have Tina Rasmussen come in to say a few words of wisdom. Our previous guest, Ron Schlegel. And we'll also have Tamisha Arundel and Ricardo, my teaching partner. They will pop in and say a few words and share this celebration and launch with us as well. So before we bring Tina in and get started, I just wanted to reflect on the last year of podcasting and interviewing. It's been a real honor being able to speak with practitioners and teachers who have been doing this for decades. I mean, I'm only 28 years old, and many of the people that we're talking to on the show have been meditating for longer than I've been alive. So it's wonderful to have people who have done this and seen awakening and seen transformation, spiritual transformation over decades to really come and share their wisdom. As young practitioners, we always think we have it figured out, but I always learn so much from talking with and interviewing people who've been in the game for much longer than many of us have. During Soul Talk over the last year, I spoke with so many different kinds of people, a lot of people that were within the Dhammakaya tradition, within the Dhammakaya temple, and people that were outside of it. We had some software developers, police officers, meditation teachers, artists, doctors, psychiatrists, all kinds of people that were on the show talking about how meditation had really changed their lives and brought them a kind of fulfillment and happiness that they didn't have before. So it's been an honor up until this point. It was great doing Soul Talk, and the show that I'm doing now is still going to have teachings and guests from within the Dhammakaya tradition, but I'll really be getting guests from all over the spiritual community, so we can get a better view, a multifaceted approach and inquiry really into what awakening is. The whole podcast that is launching today is about answering and probing the deep questions in spirituality. What is enlightenment? There's so many different definitions of what enlightenment is, even within Buddhism itself. Just within the three schools, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, we have different ideas on what the consummation and end goal of the Buddhist path, of the path to awakening is. So this shows an investigation of that. The people who've gone through it in the various paths and traditions that they're in, what was it that they went through? What was it like? And what was essentially the big shift? This past season, we've spoken mostly with people in the Theravada lineage, and I'm excited, of course, to speak with people that are outside of that in the Mahayana and Vajrayana traditions, and also in Vedanta and in non-duality as well. As time goes on, it seems that the more I study Buddhism, I realize the less I actually know about it. The Dharma is such a deep and rich ocean of knowledge, really. And just when you think you start to have it figured out, there's a deeper insight or a new discovery or some kind of revelation that is ancient, but has now just bubbled up to the surface. So it's fantastic and a lot of fun to be on this journey with all of you. One of the insights I've had recently is, up until this point, I got my teaching certification a few years ago in mindfulness and meditation. And I think in a way, having to deal with students, I felt pressure from the position of a teacher or of an instructor. And in a way, I stopped sharing the path as I was going through it. I stopped sharing some of the challenges and the lessons that I'm working through, and meeting with Don and Tina and seeing so many of these other teachers who are just way ahead of me. It's made me pivot in my own orientation and my own way of teaching and sharing this, that it's okay to document and share the journey today. So that will be a new direction as well. The podcast will there'll be new guests and new interviews, but in my YouTube channel, there'll be things more related to the personal journey and how the various practices are unfolding. So that's my 2 cents. And I'm going to announce the name of the show now. The name of the podcast is After Awakening. That's the name of the show. I actually did not want to reveal it early because I didn't want anyone to take it. So that's it, everyone. The podcast name is After Awakening. You can find it on Apple. You can find it on my website and on Spotify. And I'll share all the relevant links for that at the end of the show. So before we bring Tina on, I also wanted to say that there will be a raffle at the end of the hour for everyone who wants personal coaching time. They can win personal coaching time with Don, Tina, or Ron. Don is a Dhammakaya meditation teacher, Theravada background. Tina is a Dzogchen teacher and a jhana expert. She trained under Pa Sayadaw. And Ron Schlegel, he's going to be here in a minute, but this is just the most down-to-earth, beautiful soul I've ever met. He's a psychotherapist, and he uses an interesting modality called Psych K. And many of my friends have actually had great results in sessions with him as a therapist. So Ron will be on later. And at the end of the hour, I will post the link for the podcast. Just click the link and you can just submit a review. Leave a however many stars you want to leave, and take a picture of that and send it to me. Follow the instructions in the link, and you'll be entered into the raffle. And I'll reveal the winners of the raffle in 3 days, and there will be three winners. So 3 individual winners, and you can choose any time. You can choose time with any guest teacher that you like, Don, Tina, or Ron. So let's get started. I'll bring Tina Rasmussen on, and then once she comes on, we'll play one of my favorite clips from the interview that we did.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Tina, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Glad to have you. How was the introduction?
It was excellent. I loved it, and I love the name of your show. I'm so pleased that you're doing that.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I loved your intro. You're so good. You're really just great at this.
Thank you. And I'm excited for part 2, because there's still more that you haven't revealed, more about Dream Yoga and the 1-year retreat. So I'm excited for people to even get more wisdom and knowledge from you. So.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do another one. That would be great.
Absolutely. So I'm going to share the clip now from Tina's episode.
Okay.
One moment, everyone. Let's see.
You're letting go, you're surrender.
Just want to check, can everyone hear this? Tina?
It was a little quiet.
But you were able to hear yourself, right? In the video.
Yeah, it wasn't too loud. It was a little on the quiet side.
Okay. Okay. 1 sec. Here we go.
You can't make it arise. Your concentration and your letting go, your surrender, the surrender of the need has to be ripe, just like an avocado. You know, you can't put an avocado in the oven and make it ripen. You just have to let it. You can put it in a paper bag, so you can make it a little faster, and that's what we're doing with our practices. We're creating optimal conditions, but it can't be made to happen through ego effort. There has to be a humility and a surrender to the Dharma and to the mystery, and a trust and a showing up. One has to show up 100% and let go 100%, which is really what awakening is being 100% present and 100% surrender. So it's a great training. So when it happens, though, it's like one can feel it's sort of hovering there, and then at some point the nimitta, merges with the breath, and it's like the awareness is just pulled in, and
the nimitta is a light that actually appears in the
light. You talked about this earlier. Yeah, it's a light that's in the mind's eye. It has nothing to do with like our visual eyes. So sometimes you'll see people like on a lot of the retreats, the POWOC retreats, you see people like with towels over their heads or eye masks on, and it's like, what are they doing? They're trying to see the nimitta. It is pretty funny to go into a Dharma hall and see all these people with like blankets over their heads.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, thank you so much for that interview, and I just wanted to have you say a few words about showing up 100% and letting go 100%, and the real importance of that in our practice and path.
Yeah, this is why I think, the Buddha thought highly of the jhanas, is that it is a great training for that. But even without jhanas at all, just for awakening more generally, really there is that showing up 100% in terms of being 100% present in the moment. And this is why so many practices are encouraging us to be in the present moment, because that's the kind of showing up I'm talking about, is really being 100% present, whether that's to a blissful experience, whether that's to anger arising or a thought or whatever it is that's actually arising. That's the showing up. And in the practice, it really means bringing ourselves fully to the experience. And that's really what life is. It's awakening is really showing up. It's not just sitting with your eyes closed on a cushion, because we can't do that all the time, So there's an aliveness in awakening, both on and off the cushion, that's part of this showing up. But there's also that sense of really the ego self. I liked that quote. I like that you started there, because up to a certain point, the ego effort is really important. If we didn't have some sense of trying, we'd just be sitting on the couch watching TV like everybody else, So there needs to be a sense of some level of effort. But as one gets closer and closer to that threshold between the ego self and really knowing oneself as the ground and functioning as the ground, that is really where surrender is the only way that's going to happen. Because if the ego is pushing that, then it's just at that point reinforcing the ego. And so there is this sense, a lot of people, we all want to just get there immediately. We all want to just be fully enlightened right now, But that, and again, there needs to be a certain level of effort. But as we get, as our state gets stiller and quieter, and the me, I talk about in my teaching the thinning of the me, as the me is thinner, either through practice or just through years of thinning, there's that sense of from within, there's a letting go that just, it's like the ego just surrenders. And this is where a sense of devotion and of awe, really, of the mystery are things that cultivate that happening. That there is something that's larger, and there's a scariness of, like I talk about the me going dormant. So when the me goes dormant, that's basically a moment when the ground is arising and the me, we aren't identified. That is a surrender. And so, this is where a combination, like what's the right amount of effort? We have to have enough effort. It's like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day and he loved it, so I'll try it. Like if you've ever done a headstand, if you haven't done one, it's a little hard to get viscerally, but you have to get up there and you have to try enough so that you're staying upright. But if you're like trying to be totally rigid, you have to have enough fluidity that you don't fall down. So this is where, or even just if you're in your meditation sitting posture, being upright and relaxed. That's another way that if you haven't done a headstand, you can feel it in your body. You don't want to be like this when you're meditating. That's too much tension. But you don't want to be like this. So, there's a way we can feel it really viscerally, that there's a way you can be in your posture and be alert and yet relaxed at the same time. And that's really what I'm talking about. And that is what's happening with awakening, where, especially when we're functioning off the cushion, where we can, we're really alert, but there's a natural flow of what is arising from the ground that's just happening on its own. And so the sense of the ego self has to be surrendered for that to really be possible.
Fantastic. Tina, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Ryan. And I'm really, I wish you a wonderful kickoff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Talk to you soon, okay? Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now we will bring up my partner and best friend in the Dharma, one of my best friends in the Dharma. We've been on this journey together for a decade now. So I'm happy to bring on Ricardo. Ricardo.
Right. What's up, Ryan?
How you doing?
Excellent. Excellent.
Good. So I just wanted to let everyone know also that Ricardo and I do talks every week that go on YouTube and our Facebook, and they're called R&R, time where we just talk about meditation and take questions from people who learn from us, actually, and send us questions. So we've kept that up every week, and R&R episodes from R&R will be featured in After Awakening in the podcast. So I just wanted to bring Ricardo on and have him talk about something related to Dharma, like love or effort or surrender.
Yeah, so I'm excited about our episodes because we get to do what we've been doing for 11 years now, and allowing people to see our journey through it gives it a unique perspective. And it's not from a perspective of we're already there. I mean, technically we are, but
because everyone is, right?
Exactly. But it gets to see, we're still young, and it gets to see people can view us on our journey to see how we grow, so to speak. And we have some exciting things coming up too, like having a Twitch, doing some live stream meditations, recording ourselves in meditation retreats and documenting our experiences there. So it's all such a new experience for people. I don't think people have had seen that one-on-one documents of someone that's been meditating for such a long time. It's usually, again, I'm already at this level and I'm teaching it downward, but it's never the actual journey to it. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I really appreciate that we're coming from that perspective.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's very unique, and that's one of the benefits of the modern era and the modern Dharma, that we'll see more and more of this sort of thing where people are documenting how the transformations are happening in real time. Before, when we looked at the teachings of masters in the past, it was always after the fact, always. Sometimes 100 years after the fact, right? You get a meditation journal or a diary of a master's life that he left, and it wasn't found till 100 years later. That's what we're used to. So I think it's interesting to see more and more people that aren't necessarily at that guru master level sharing how this whole unfolding is happening. I think that's beneficial for a lot of people.
It's almost like we're two test subjects and people are viewing us, like seeing what goes on in those actual spiritual awakening process to things. And I enjoy it because we've both been doing it for 11 years and we've already been through a lot. We've seen a lot. There's just so many things we can describe in like a day's worth of time that still wouldn't shed the light of what we've really experienced. And speaking about Dharma, I guess for me, has been coming up is, and you and I have been experiencing this notion of love and kindness. Love and kindness, to me, is the essential nature of reality. And people can say this logically, and I understand it, like, oh yeah, logically everything's out of God, everything is empty. But the real experience of love, how non-dual, how there's nothing tied to it, there's no condition, love is just present. To really be in that state takes a lot of practice because ego gets in the way. And you may love a certain people, certain groups, certain friends, but can you really hone your love and kindness to every sentient being, be it bad or good? When we see an animal strike another animal, kill it, do we say that's part of nature? Do we categorize it? Or do we understand that this is still somewhat out of love? This is such a natural phenomenon. It's really hard for people to understand that perspective. But for me, what's been recently coming up is that very phenomenon on how much this side of me that may be portrayed as negative needs as much attention to my love, needs as much attention to my love and compassion than maybe the good side or the what I portray. And so I guess that's my final point to this little tiny Dharma talk is cultivate love as much as you can. Real essential love.
Thank you, Ricardo. And we'll be talking more about that as a journey in the coming weeks. So I'll bring on Tamisha now and introduce her. Thank you.
Hi.
Tamisha, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So I just wanted to bring you on and introduce you to everyone. You run a show called Vibe Talk Awaken, and you are my social media person, and you have helped me immensely. This whole thing could not have happened without you. And I just wanted to let people know that you've been such a huge help and an inspiration to me, and you really know your stuff when it comes to social media and sharing spiritual wisdom. And I wanted to recognize your show and tell people to go and check that out as well. What are your words of wisdom for the launch of After Awakening?
So you announced the name, which is exciting. Well, first and foremost, you were a guest on my podcast as well. So you shared so much wisdom. Woo, goodness, what are my words of wisdom? It's weird to be on the flip side because I'm always the one asking that question. So I would say just having an open heart and an open mind and just being open to receiving new information, even if it challenges your beliefs or your narrative. I think that's how I've been able to grow and evolve, not only just my mindset, also just my consciousness. And that's something that Ricardo was just talking about. He was actually my latest guest on Vibe Talk Awaken, cultivating love. I think that's so important. So I love that he touched on that. But yeah, that would be my words of wisdom. It's just having an open mind. I think that has been the single most important thing that has allowed me to be on my spiritual path, is not being closed off to new ideas and concepts. So yeah, that would be it.
Awesome. And I know that in the future on Vibe Talk Awaken, you're going to have some pretty incredible guests. So everyone who's interested in meditation and spirituality, and you get some interest. You know, the thing about your show is that you get people that share very, very deep personal things that they might not share on other podcasts and on other shows.
True.
You know, their views on certain things. So that's the cool thing about Vibe Talk Awaken. So I recommend everyone to check that out. And yeah, if you ever, and of course, Tamisha's the go-to person for social media stuff. If you need her help with podcasting and everything, I highly recommend that. So
I appreciate that, and congratulations on the launch. I'm excited that it's finally up and running. I wish you all the success, and I think it's going to be great. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care, Tamisha.
You too.
And now we will bring up Ron Schlegel. Ron.
Hello. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
Good.
So I just wanted to bring you on. You were a previous guest on my podcast and also on Soul Talk with the Meditation Center of Chicago. And some of the things you said in that interview were very touching. You know, I asked you if you could go back in time to your young self and give him advice, what would he say? And I'm going to play that clip first, and then for the audience, and then just have you share any wisdom that's coming to you. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that mustache is out of control, but moving ahead anyways.
What would you have said to your 30-year-old self if he was open enough to listen? I love that question, by the way. I think that's fantastic. Part of me wants to be funny. I want to slap myself upside the head and say, "Shithead, wake up!" But no, it's with an open heart. I really want that part of me to learn how to really love himself. Wow, that is just so precious to be able to figure out and to really love yourself, just the way you are. And I'm still learning about that. Unconditional love is just an amazing thing, and it's so deep. It has so many layers, and ultimately, I think that when we can get to that place where we totally love ourselves unconditionally, we then have no separation between us and our Creator. My sense of it, it's.
Thank you for that.
Well, I don't know if other people had trouble hearing that, but I could hardly hear what I said. So.
Oh. Well, pretty much it was I hope everyone could hear that, but the point of that part was you said that by learning to love yourself unconditionally, you come to a place where you're no longer separate from your Creator.
Yeah. Yes. I liked Ricardo's statement too about honing your love and kindness. I think that's so true. That's our opportunity that we have here, is to hone that love, not only for life, but for ourselves. And I think that's probably one of the more difficult parts, is learning how to love oneself on a very deep level where there's no judgment whatsoever.
Absolutely. And would you say that over the years or over the decades that becomes easy, that has become easier for you, or?
I would say that it's like, you're in the ocean going for a swim and you're going from one island to the next. You get a little tired swimming from one place to the next, but you have those opportunities in between where you can rest and assimilate and integrate. But then once you've integrated that level, you feel drawn to move on and go even deeper. So it's a process of going deeper and deeper, I think.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, before I let you go, Ron, I actually want to try that one last time, that video, because it's so powerful. To Misha, anyone who's in the queue, were you able to hear that just now, or is it on Ron's end? If you were able to hear it, just put your thumbs up. Okay, let me try one more time. You know, 35 years, 40 years, a lifetime in spirit. You know, if you're able to actually go back to yourself when you were 30, for example, there's a few people that are going to listen to this at 30. You know, what would you have said to your 30-year-old self if he was open enough to listen?
I love that question, by the way. I think that's fantastic. Part of me wants to be funny. I want to slap myself upside the head and say, "You shithead, wake up." But no, it's with an open heart. I really would want that part of me to learn how to really love himself.
Wow.
That is just so precious to be able to figure out and to really love yourself just the way you are. And I'm still learning about that. Unconditional love is just an amazing thing, and it's so deep. It has so many layers, and ultimately, I think that when we can get to that place where we totally love ourselves unconditionally, we then have no separation between us and our Creator. My sense of it.
That was better.
Awesome. That was the loudest I could get it. So.
Well, thanks for
Ron?
playing that, Brian. It was nice to hear that.
Absolutely. That was one of my favorite interviews. You shared some very personal stories there. So for everyone who's gonna check out the podcast and leave a review, I highly recommend listening to the interview with Ron. If it's not on Apple Podcasts, you can check out Ryan. I'll post a link to my website and you'll see it there. So Ron, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and best of luck to you.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Don, you're muted.
All right, I'm really excited to be here.
Wonderful. How's it going?
Great, thank you.
Good. So before your wisdom and the guided meditation, I just wanted to play a clip from you in the interview that we did. So we'll start with that, and then the floor is yours. Okay?
All right, sounds good.
What do you mean by the word Dhammakaya?
Yeah, so Dhammakaya is our goal. We're trying to bodies and different levels of our consciousness, which is purified aspects of ourself, onto Dhammakaya, which is the ultimate.
Yep, just wanted to keep it short and sweet because I know you could say more live. So
That's wonderful. Yeah. So I think I just kind of want to touch upon what other people have said here tonight about the unconditional love, because this purified mind and the stages that we attain in our meditation, what it is, we're uncovering the pure consciousness, which is a state of fulfillment, a state of wholeness, a state of unconditional love for oneself and others. It's a state of inner peace. And as we continue with our meditation practice, we just go deeper and deeper, and this grows like greater and richer. And so I just wanted to say that, as we continue our practice, and this podcast is a wonderful resource to all the meditators to come here and get support. You're not alone in your practice. If you're meditating on your own out there, if you feel your practice is waning or you're having some challenges, it's great to come here and get some support and feed your heart and your mind. It can inspire your practice and help your journey.
absolutely, absolutely. That's the main motivation behind the show and behind the work that we're doing. We're all on this journey together, and by having the information available and by teaching and sharing everyone's merits and everyone's spirituality and everyone's consciousness goes up and becomes purified and higher.
That's great. And I just want to say that, we have what we need inside of us. This is what the Buddha taught. We're looking outside of ourselves for something that we actually have inside of ourselves. And it's just a hidden gem there that we can uncover in our meditation practice. So all the love and all the healing that we're yearning for, that actually resides inside of ourselves, and we can start to get glimpses of that in our meditation. And I would say when we do get glimpses of it, we're hooked, right? We love meditation. We start to see the potential, and then you can just go deeper into it in your practice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we could start the next 15-minute period of meditation, and I'll remove myself from the screen, so it's just you here, and then I'll pop myself back in at the 15-minute mark. So
All right, sounds
okay.
good. So welcome, meditators. Find a comfortable position for yourself. Sitting upright, although relaxed, releasing tension in your body, just closing your eyes gently and softly. Begin by taking some deep breaths. Inhaling fully, feeling the breath fill up your abdomen, and exhaling slowly. Just feeling into your physical body as you rest your full attention and awareness at the top of your head. Scanning down through your scalp and relaxing your forehead. Loosening up the muscles around your eyes and in your eyelids. moving your attention down your face and relaxing your jaw. And imagining this feeling of relaxation flowing down through your neck and around your shoulders. Gently flowing down through your upper arms, lower arms, and into the palms of your hands. Gently shifting your awareness into your abdomen. And relaxing the muscles in your stomach. Just noticing your belly rise and fall naturally as you breathe freely and easily. And now gently scanning your chest. Perhaps you can feel your heart beating. And allowing your awareness to flow around your shoulders and down through your upper back. Imagining this feeling of relaxation flowing down through your lower back. Imagining your awareness moving down through your upper legs as you relax your thighs. Allowing your awareness to flow down through your lower legs. And into the soles of your feet. Relaxing your heels through the base of your feet. All the way to the tips of your toes. Connecting with a feeling of relaxation and imagining these feelings touching and rejuvenating every single cell in your body. And then imagine that you're sitting in your favorite place in nature, and the sky is clear and vast, much like your mind. You notice some birds flying by in the sky, coming into and out of your awareness, much like your thoughts just passing through. You're just simply noticing. And as you gently imagine your awareness floating down to the center of your body and the center of your abdomen, it might help to visualize a leaf falling from a tree branch, softly floating down to very softly touch the surface of the stream of water. Now allowing your mind to touch the center of your body, much in the same way. You might imagine the breath passing through the center of your body as you cultivate very gentle one-pointedness at the center of your abdomen. And if you find your mind wandering, you can recite a mantra to yourself. You might try reciting the mantra, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang. And imagine hearing the mantra echoing and resonating from your center. Continue placing light and gentle attention at the center of your body. And imagining your center to be the spiritual and emotional epicenter for your practice. As we now begin cultivating metta loving kindness, we will imagine this feeling of loving kindness flowing freely and fully outward from the center of our body in every direction. And we'll begin by sending our loving kindness to our fellow meditators here this evening. And it might help to recite some well wishes to yourself, some ancient metta phrases. May my fellow meditators be happy, safe, and peaceful. May my fellow meditators be healthy in body and mind. May my fellow meditators be able to take care of themselves and their loved ones happily and joyfully and with ease. And may my fellow meditators be free of any hardships or difficulties in life. And be able to easily find the inner peace within. Now imagining this loving kindness radiating and expanding outward from the center of your body in every direction. As you now imagine sending it to yourself, connecting with the love and gratitude that you have for your own life here on earth. And allow your entire being to be filled with the feelings of love and kindness and gratitude. And imagining these feelings touching and rejuvenating every single cell in your body. It might help to imagine yourself doing something that you love doing, and you're having an extraordinary day. And on this particular day, you feel so good to be alive. We all have moments like this in life. Really connect with your moment, cultivating that feeling of loving kindness for yourself. And then when you're ready to, gently bringing your attention back to the room, I hope you all enjoyed the meditation this evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Don. That was very peaceful, and the loving kindness part of your meditations are the best. And before I let you go and close this hour and this launch, Don hosts meditation over Zoom every Saturday at 5 p.m. PST, and I'm the co-host and I'm the moderator on those meditation sessions. And many people who are watching this actually are in that class. So if you want to meditate deeply, the session is an hour long usually, and Don does some teaching. I highly recommend that. It's a great way to meditate for longer than a short session, and Don's Dhamma is always wonderful. So it's great to have her. And Don, thank you for coming to the launch and for guiding us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I wish you all the best.
Okay. All right, everybody. Now for the final segment of the show, of the launch. To enter the raffle to get coaching time with Don, Ron, or Tina, I'm going to provide a link here. All you have to do is follow the instructions in the link. It'll take you to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Leave some kind words and a review, and you'll be entered. And if you win, you'll be hearing from me in 3 days. So I'll post that here right now. Other thing as well is that some of the episodes are accessible on my website under the podcast link, but they're not on Apple Podcasts yet. There's a couple, but Ron's episode, for example, is not on there yet. And neither is Don. So if you want to hear Don's episode, you can go to my website, and I'll provide that right now as well. So this is the link to enter the raffle, and this is the website to hear and see the full episodes. BrianJBurton.com After Awakening. So I'll say a few final words before we close out the hour. During that loving kindness just now, and during that meditation and throughout the hour, I've reflected really on the practice over the years and how important spiritual friends are. In Theravada Buddhism, we call them Kalyanamitas. So they're the friends in the Dharma. They're the friends that are your practitioner friends that are on the path with you and that are on the path together. The Buddha was in a conversation, or Ananda had made a statement and asked him a question and said, is it true that Kalyanamita, that friendship is half of the holy life? And the Buddha's response was, don't say such a thing. Spiritual friendship is the entirety of the holy life. And the reason for that is because on this path, it's extremely rare that a person ever does it alone. We need to rely on friendship and on other practitioners and on teachers to really come to that awakening and that spiritual freedom. If we had it all figured out, we'd already be enlightened. And that's the reason, one of the reasons that I'm launching this podcast and this show, to open a door for everyone to have access to people like Don and people like me and people like Tina that may have done this for longer than you have, and especially for people that are beginning this spiritual territory and this life and path is very, it's different to say the least than you might expect. And especially when I look back, it has turned out very differently than what I thought, how I thought it was going to be when I started, all those years ago. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's supported me. Thank you to my friends and family and teachers that were here on this call, and the mentors. I appreciate all of your help so much, and I'm looking forward to more episodes and more interviews and providing more value and stories and meditation for all of you. So please enter the raffle. Time with Don, Tina, or Ron. It's just fantastic. I'm close and I've had sessions with all of them, and it's just wonderful. So click the link, check out the website. You can see the episodes there. And thank you for tuning in, everyone. And I'll keep you posted on updates, and we'll see each other and meditate soon.